Hey everyone, I'm Trey Rich and welcome to The Buzz. On today's show we have Kimrie Lewis from NBC's new show Kenan. Then we have Emme Lentino in our artist spotlight. Then from the movie Boss Level we have Frank Grillo, Selina and Joe Carnahan. And then we check in with Daisy to talk about the T.I. and Tiny scandal. We got another good one. Let's start the show.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Nettles. Let's get buzzed.
Kenan Thompson has been on SNL for 190 years. I mean, well, it seems like it, but is the reigning longest member of the famed nighttime show. And now he's branching off to do his own show, appropriately called Kenan on NBC. We have one of the funny actors from the show, Kimrie Lewis, who plays Mika, who is his producer on the show. We have her up next to give us all the details. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Kimrie Lewis, and I play Mika on the NBC comedy Kenan.
Good morning, Atlanta.
Starting today, we're covering hard news.
You want to be a serious news guy now? Just remember the 3 Ds. Deny, deflect, blame, Dwayne, defrost.
Now that's chicken.
Yeah, you right.
Shut the hell up.
Okay.
So the show is about Kenan, who plays a widowed father. He lost his wife about a year ago, and he is struggling to raise his 2 girls with his brother/manager and father-in-law, which is played by Don Johnson. And also balance that family life with his career, which is playing a morning news anchor for the #2 show in Atlanta. And so, I think it's kind of cool because we see this kind of forced family dynamic that a lot of folks are living through right now, especially with the pandemic. So it starts off there, but as you know, there's a whole lot of comedy that drips from it too. Mika is definitely the one who's rounding up the troops. She's all about ratings. She is, she's this news beast, right? And she's put her career first. And as a result, her personal life has suffered a great deal. But, in terms of news and ratings and keeping that ship in line, she's on top of it. And she's also, a friend for Kenan to help him deal with a lot of the personal stuff that he's going through. So there's some tension between the two of them, some romantic tension that we'll see. Can't give away too much, but yeah, that's definitely to come. Just felt like family from day one with these folks. I gotta say, it just felt like a real natural fit, and I'm so thankful, so grateful to be here with everyone who's just at the top of their game. Jackie Clark, David Cask, everybody is so good at what they do. That makes coming into work just a dream. Well, I gotta say for the first few months when we were having these table reads, right? It was still all through Zoom. So, we were trying our best to find the rhythm, the cast rhythm. But it's hard because, folks got janky internet. You're waiting for folks to finish the timing of their last line. You're like, ooh, when do I swoop in? So I think the foundation that was laid through those Zoom calls definitely helped us so that when we did arrive, it was like, okay, got it. Now we're in person. Now I can see your face in real life. And it made for a really cool dynamic. I think, especially with Don Johnson, he's known for so many past titles and so many legendary movies and TV shows that you're right, one wouldn't think to pair him with this group, but he fits in seamlessly. His characters is a lot of fun. Right now we're doing the best job that we can, with what we can do, right? So we have a few audience scenes that we record. I sound like I'm from the 1980s. We have a few audience scenes that we'll film, but for the most part we'll bring them in separately and we'll do them separately, and then we'll do our stuff separately, just to keep it as safe as possible. And for the most part, we've all been recording on the lot. So I think as seasons progress, that we'll see maybe more on location stuff, and then maybe more interacting with the live audience that's on the show within the show. I grew up in South Central LA, and I was part of an acting group that just kind of performed locally. Black History Month Day Parade, Martin Luther King Day Parade on Crenshaw. We would perform at all these things, and it was great because it gave me a good footing in this world. But then I went on to college and, studied at NYU and, spent a fortune there, still paying those bills off. But once I graduated from and got my theater degree from NYU, it was slow, it was slow for me, but I started off mostly in television, doing little guest spots here and there. And I think the big break for me, I guess you could say, was on Single Parents, which was the last show I did for 2 seasons, and had such a blast playing Poppy on that show. And, the writers and the cast on that show was just so terrific. So, when that show sadly ended last season, this was just such a welcome and refreshing dream to have come true, to be able to really play up with all these folks who are just A-game comedy folks. Yeah, you can expect a lot more hijinks to ensue. We have we have such good guest stars coming in. I cannot wait to tell you. One of them is Vanessa Bell Calloway, who is just our forever queen, right? And a few others that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about yet, but they're so good. And in these episodes that they come in for, they're so freaking funny. I think also you'll see a lot more between Mika and Kenan as that relationship, develops, both work and personal. And then, of course, Mika and Gary, they're always at odds. So pulling for Kenan's attention. And then, of course, you can't forget the girls and seeing, his daughters grow up. And how they progress as into young women. Right. Seeing Kenan as a father in that regard is a true treat. Yes, you can stalk me at I am Kimrie on all of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and definitely, of course, you can catch Kenan Tuesday nights, 8:30 on NBC. Hi, my name is Kimrie Lewis, and you have just been buzzed.
Kenan airs on NBC and streams on Peacock, so please check our local listings. Up next, we have Emme Lentino in our Artist Spotlight, so don't go anywhere.
I gotta have you all to myself, and I don't wanna share with no.
Following the passing of her husband, who lost his battle with cancer, music and family became her protected sanctuary. Emme spent her time devoted to raising her 2 young children and singing. She has a new song, Oceanside, that was released, and we have her up next in our Artist Spotlight.
You had my heart and you threw it away. From the start when you looked my way. Truth be untold, when you promised the world, left all alone for some other girl.
Hello everyone, my name is Emme Lentino. I'm originally from Salem, Oregon, and now I call New Zealand my home. I'm an indie singer-songwriter. I've been singing since I was a kid in church and writing music since I was 10, and I love to bring hope, healing, and encouragement to the masses, and I love that music brings us all together. But I think music really was with me from the very beginning. My parents were huge music buffs. They introduced both my brother and I to every type of music, from the Roaring 20s to the great country classics, to rock, to pop. So I grew up really listening to, Billie Holiday and just all sorts of. Sam Cooke was a big one in my family. So I think there was lots of different influences. And then I sang at church at a really young age. I sang at 3 or 4, started singing and then making up my own songs. I probably didn't make a lot of sense when I was that young, but I just loved it. I loved music. And I know that when I was younger, I recognized right away how music brings healing, and it brings peace, and it brings people together. And that was something that even when I was, a little girl, I could see that it brought so much joy. And I thought, I really want to do that. That, I even if I had a bit of a bummer day, if I'd sang to myself. In fact, I remember, this is when I was 5 years old, I was in kindy, and I said that I had to go to the ladies' room, but I just was going so I could sing. I was having a little bit of a sad day. So I sang The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow by, the musical Annie, sang at the top of my lungs because I loved how the sound resonated and echoed. So when I was singing, the teacher at the time came in and she was like, "You get yourself back to the classroom right now, you know, young lady." And I was like, walked back with my head shamed. So singing was always, as much as I could do it, I was doing it. It made me happy.
You could say I've been pushing my luck, kinda feeling not enough, trying to keep it all together. And there's a key deep inside of me, unlocking thoughts I'm afraid to see. Spirits lead this mystery. Spirits lead this mystery. I wanna feel the sun on my skin, sand angels and sand back at the ocean side.
Yes, so Oceanside is a brand new song. It's just come out. I'm really excited about it. It actually came out of the pandemic. I literally wrote the song with a friend of mine, Greg Cortez, in LA. So we wrote it over Zoom. And we wanted to create something that was a celebration of, you know, when times were easier. That nostalgic feeling of being in the sun and the sand and being with loved ones and all the stuff that obviously we weren't able to do in the current circumstances. And so this particular project I'm really proud of, because I feel like it really showed me as an artist that you can be anywhere in the world and you can collaborate with someone. And the two producers, so it was Greg Cortez and I wrote the song, and then Greg and my friend Dan Antonovich produced it, and they co-produced it virtually. So they used audio movers and Zoom, and it was really neat to be able to see the collaboration between the three of us. And I'm excited about it because it has that uplifting, hopeful feeling that I hope will bring sunshine to people's hearts, especially in this new year, 2021, when we obviously are still dealing with lots of things. I hope that it brings them smiles, this particular song. Yeah, so the next thing is I'm going to be putting out 3 more songs with the same team. So Greg Cortez and Dan and I, Greg and I have already started writing them, which we're excited about. I've got some TV and kind of film projects in the works. I'm an executive producer of a new show. And yeah, just putting out as much kind of, you know, funny, uplifting kind of entertainment, but also some really great mentoring things that I'm working with some students here in New Zealand that have beautiful voices, and just kind of helping direct them. And then I'm also involved with Heart of Indie Radio. I'm a co-host for their show. And I'm discovering artists all the time from all over the world and interviewing them. And that makes me so happy to be able to, you know, just virtually meet people from around the world and encourage them and learn about their lives and share their stories. It's really cool. So I feel like those are kind of the next few steps in the next 6 months. And who knows? I mean, who knows what will happen tomorrow, but I'm game. Hi, my name is Emme Lentino, and you've just been buzzed.
Oceanside is out now on all streaming platforms. We have Frank Grillo, Selina Lowe, and Joe Carnahan up next to talk about their new movie, Boss Level.
I have died 144 times, and every day ends like this. But it doesn't matter. Not when you've lost everything you've loved.
Hey, this is Danielle DeLate for The Buzz, and up next I talk to Frank Grillo, Joe Carnahan and Selina Lowe about their new movie, Boss Level, which also stars Mel Gibson and Naomi Watts. Frank Grillo plays Roy, a retired military operative that finds himself stuck on a never-ending time loop where he must face a series of assassination attempts while figuring out how and why this happened. Let's check it out.
Every day felt the same, and now every day is the same. Hey, Jake. I have died 144 times, and every day ends like this. But it doesn't matter. Not when you've lost everything you've loved. You need to learn how to fight with a sword.
I would only have a day.
I think we can get a lot done in a day.
Someone's been the busiest little beaver.
I'm stuck in the death loop because of you. Exactly.
I mean, Boss Level is like this intense kick-ass action movie, but it's also got heart, it's got gravitas, it's got some humor as well. Joe, how would you describe Boss Level to people, and how did you take this action movie to another level?
I describe Boss Level as like just an absolute blast of a Friday or Saturday night, like watching an old school kind of throwback 80s action comedy that's completely over the top and gratifying, satisfying. And then, you know, you add in this element of the kind of unexpected, which is this wonderful relationship between a father and a son that is it kind of comes out of nowhere in a great way, and but yet still set against the kind of the stakes of the end of the world and all that stuff that we come to love about movies like this. So it's everything that you would possibly want in kind of an action comedy, and then you get a little, as you say, you kind of level it up a little bit with this other unexpected emotional journey.
Mm-hmm. Now, Frank, Roy wakes up every morning on this loop to a guy trying to assassinate him in his bed. I mean, the whole wake up to a hot cup of coffee and the coffee pot in the face got a whole new meaning for me with this movie. I don't think it'll ever be the same. What was your favorite assassination attempt to film with Roy, your character Roy?
You know, I just, because I have a sense of humor like a 7-year-old boy, I just love every time Roy gets his head chopped off. And we had a lot of fun doing that, you know, coming up with different ways to do that. But, you know, truth be told, it was all fun. You know, whether I was getting shot in the groin or shot in the head. And what was most fun is every time I would do a take, Joe behind the video village would be hysterical laughing. So it didn't matter if it was the first time or the 300th time. Him laughing cracked me up. So that was the most fun.
Someone's been the busiest little beaver.
I am Guan Yin, and Guan Yin has done this.
Congratulations on this movie. Your character, Guan Yin, is so fierce. What was it that attracted you to this role?
Well, the fact that she's just so strong and so badass was a huge appeal. I always love playing strong characters. And then the script, it was just the funniest script I'd ever read. And working with Joe Carnahan, of course, and Frank Grillo, like the whole cast it's a stellar cast.
Oh, and the way that she, you know, she holds that sword and assassinates Roy with it. I mean, she had that down to a piece of art.
I mean, I think she's done it over 300 times.
Yes. Talking of Selina Lowe, her movement with the sword, that sword fighting scene with you, Frank, was just so, I mean, it had action and it had, you know, it was fierce, but it also had this grace to it. And it kind of reminded me of almost like a dance. So when you are an actor in that moment, and also Joe as well, like when you're directing that, is it somewhat like a dance when you shoot those hand-to-hand combat scenes or a sword fighting scene?
I mean, it basically is a dance. You know, I mean, fighting is dancing. It's a, you know, especially sword fighting. And then to kind of progress in the movie to the point where Roy is doing it effortlessly, you know, that kind of gets a bit difficult because we didn't have a whole lot of time. So, but I think it really worked. It really worked beautifully. You follow Roy through the journey to the point where he becomes the expert at the sword. And I think that's, to me, that fight is going to become one of my favorite fights that I've seen on film in a very long time, and I happen to be in it. I'm excited about that.
Now, I do have to ask you, what was it like working with fellow Aussies Mel Gibson and Naomi Watts?
I mean, you're talking top of the food chain. You're talking two of the best actors, and also Mel, a world-class filmmaker. You know, when you've got people like that, it's like you're setting a very high bar. And I thought that they were, you know, they're just extraordinary, both of them. You know, Mel just absolutely worked his tail off, and so did Naomi, and they just show up ready to go. And, you know, Frank is extraordinarily prepared. And when you have a complementary relationship like that, where they show up and they're equally prepared, you're just gonna generate good stuff.
And Frank, before we go, I have to let you know, look, I wake up in the morning, okay, and I'll do my hair, and I walk outside, there's a light breeze, and my hair's a mess. Now, Roy, he can get, you know, attempted to be killed in the morning in the bed. He jumps out of an exploding window. He gets shot at, sword fights and everything, but his hair is perfection.
I'm going to tell you something. We had giant fans when the earth was ending, when the world was ending, blowing, and my hair, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's like the symbiote. It's like venom. It's like I'm like some sort of pudding. It just
pudding. It's pudding. It's like
Not no.
Hey, your hair's your trademark, Frank. We just have to let you know that. You know? And Roy, on that loop, lived a good hair day over and over again.
Over and over again. I mean, how bad can life be?
Yes.
I can do this all day.
This is Joe Carnahan.
This is Selina Lewis.
And this is Frank Grillo.
And you've just
been buzzed.
Make sure you check out Boss Level on Hulu March 5th.
Thank you, Danny. Don't go anywhere. We still got more show to go. We're going to check in with Daisy to talk about this never-ending T.I. and Tiny drugging and sexual scandal. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, my name is Adeze, and today we're going to talk T.I. and Tiny and the sexual assault allegations. So a woman by the name of Sabrina Peterson came out on Instagram saying that she was in a very treacherous relationship with both T.I. and Tiny, and it involved sexual coercion and even a gun to her head by T.I. After coming out on Instagram, 16 plus other women also told her their stories, and she aired it out for the entire public to see. Now, my opinion about this situation is a little bit tricky because I do believe people are innocent until proven guilty, and people should have as many facts as they can before they make a decision. But the amount of people who lie about sexual assault, domestic abuse specifically, rape in general, is so low statistically that it's unfounded, that it's irrelevant. So I pride myself on pulling my support from people and apologizing for being wrong later because I believe victims first. I support women and men who've been abused first. We need to believe victims because a lot of people who have been victimized see how other victims are treated in the public eye, and it makes them shy away from telling their stories. A lot of times you hear stories that come out 15 years later, 10 years later, because people are scared. People are scared about how they're going to be received. People are scared that they're not going to be believed. People are scared to quite simply relive the situation that they've been through and then face public backlash. So do I believe Sabrina Peterson? Yes. Do I believe the 16 other women? Yes. This is a soft yes, of course, because we all don't have the facts, but I do support pulling my personal support away from T.I. and Tiny. I will not be consuming anything that they do, no music, no shows in general. And I encourage people to encourage others to just listen, understand, and not be quick to judge those who have come out with their stories. Now, T.I., like I said, has vehemently denied all allegations, so has Tiny, and I think that a lot of different facts are going to unfold on this, and we should keep an eye on it. So before we pass judgment on the victims, I challenge everyone listening today to just think about consent and where it could have went left or right, and maybe that applies to this specific situation with the victims. My heart goes out to everyone who's involved. Hopefully there's justice that is paid to everyone who's involved, and we just have to wait until this story unfolds so we can truly see what happened and make our decisions about what we're going to do with T.I. and Tiny.
That's all we have. Special thanks to Adeze, Frank Grillo, Selina Lewis, Emme Lentino, and the hilarious Kimrie Lewis. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and double tap us on Instagram, all at @Buzz_Access. We still have a long way to go for equality. Even the month chosen for us to celebrate Black excellence in history is the shortest month of the year. Come on! Anyway, we're still dealing with this pandemic, so please wear those masks, wash your hands, and don't someone's day. I'm Trey Rich. Love and light to you all.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sun sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
For more stories and extended clips, go to thebuzzallaccess.com. I'm Trey Rich, and you've just been buzzed.